The morning rush at Maple Street Cafe had just started to simmer down when a man in a faded hoodie and worn-out jeans walked in. To anyone watching, he looked like just another tired customer, someone who had rolled out of bed, craving caffeine and a simple breakfast before heading to work. But this man wasn't ordinary. His name was Daniel Mercer, CEO of a nationwide cafe chain. Today, though, he wasn't walking in as a boss. He was there as a regular guy, blending into the crowd. No one in the cafe knew that the man about to order toast and coffee actually owned the entire franchise. Daniel had launched the Undercover visit after whispers reached his desk. Complaints about low morale, unhappy employees, and customers noticing staff turnover at an alarming rate. He wanted answers, not through reports or filtered feedback, but by seeing it himself. He stepped up to the counter. Behind it stood a young barista named Ella, her curly hair tied back in a messy bun, a tired but genuine smile on her face. "Good morning," she said brightly, though her eyes carried exhaustion. "Coffee. Black. And some toast, please," Daniel replied, keeping his tone casual. "That'll be $3.85, Ella said, ringing it up. Daniel handed over a $5 bill. He noticed the small glass jar sitting at the end of the counter labeled, "Tips. Thank you for supporting us." He slipped a folded dollar into it. Ella smiled, nodding gratefully before turning to prepare his coffee. He took a seat in the corner, pulling his hood up, pretending to scroll through his phone while observing. The cafe smelled of roasted beans and buttered bread, warm and comforting. Customers trickled in. An older man in a suit, a mother with 2 kids, a college student juggling textbooks. Ella moved quickly, balancing orders, offering smiles, chatting lightly with the regulars. But Daniel noticed something odd. After each transaction, she glanced nervously at the counter, at the tip jar. Minutes later, another employee appeared from the back. His name tag read, Kyle. He was a shift supervisor, tall, lean, and sharp-faced. He walked straight to the counter, gave Ella a curt nod, then, in one fluid motion, scooped the jar off its spot and carried it toward the register. Daniel froze. He watched Kyle open the register drawer, dump the bills and coins inside, and place the now empty jar back on the counter. Daniel's chest tightened. The whispers he had heard in boardroom meetings now had a face. Tips were being stolen. But what struck him wasn't just the act, it was Ella's face. She bit her lip, her jaw tightening as if holding back words she wanted to say but couldn't. Her hands trembled slightly as she wiped down the counter. A customer noticed, too. The older man in the suit frowned, muttering, thought those tips went to the staff, but Kyle ignored him, already moving to the back. Daniel's mind raced. He had seen theft before, sure, but this felt deeper. It wasn't about the money in that jar. It was about dignity. These workers weren't making much. Tips were a lifeline, a recognition of their effort. And here, it was being stolen in plain sight. Ella delivered Daniel's coffee and toast. "Here you go, sir," she said softly. He looked at her. "You okay?" he asked, lowering his voice. Her smile wavered. For a moment, she seemed ready to say something, then swallowed her words. "Enjoy your meal," she said instead, moving on to the next customer. Daniel sipped his coffee, the bitterness echoing the tightness in his chest. He needed to understand more. Over the next hour, he watched as Ella and another barista, Maria, kept serving customers with warmth and care. Yet every time a dollar went into the jar, Kyle or another supervisor would come by, scoop it up, and lock it into the register. Finally, Daniel struck up a conversation. When Ella returned to clear his plate, he leaned forward. "Excuse me," he said. "I couldn't help noticing something. Those tips, did they go to you?" Her eyes flickered in panic, scanning the room as if worried someone had overheard. She lowered her voice. "They're supposed to," she whispered. "But management says it's company policy. They collect them. We never see any of it." Daniel's chest tightened again, anger simmering beneath his calm expression. "That doesn't sound right," he murmured. Ella gave a small, helpless shrug. "We tried asking once. Got told if we didn't like it, we could leave. But some of us need this job. Rent doesn't pay itself." She forced a smile again, trying to move away, but Daniel stopped her gently. "What's your name?" "Ella," she said cautiously. "Well, Ella," he replied, "thank you. For the coffee, and for being honest." She gave a small nod, then hurried back behind the counter. Daniel sat in silence, grappling with what he had seen. It wasn't just policy. This was exploitation. The company he built to serve communities, to create jobs, was being twisted into something cold and greedy at the ground level. He couldn't let it go. As the cafe cleared out, Daniel approached the counter again. "Could I get a refill?" he asked, using the excuse to talk more. Ella poured his cup. "On the house," she said quietly. "Thanks. Listen," he hesitated, then lowered his voice. "If you could change one thing about this place, what would it be?" She blinked at him, caught off guard. Then she sighed. "Honestly, respect. We work hard. We care about the customers. But it feels like we don't matter. Even the tips, which are meant to show appreciation, get taken away. It's like we're invisible." Her words cut deep. Daniel swallowed hard, his mind flashing back to when he started this company in a small-town cafe with just 2 employees. Back then, he had promised himself it would always be about people first. When had that changed? Suddenly, Kyle reappeared, overhearing the tail end of their conversation. "Ella, less chatting, more working," he snapped. Then he turned to Daniel. "Everything okay here?" Daniel nodded coolly. "Just fine." Kyle smirked and walked away. Daniel knew what he had to do. The next morning, Daniel returned, not in a hoodie this time, but in a crisp blazer, clean-shaven, his presence commanding. The staff froze when he walked in. Kyle approached, puffing up his chest. "Can I help you?" "Yes," Daniel said firmly. "Gather everyone, now." Within minutes, Ella, Maria, the kitchen staff, and even the nervous dishwasher assembled, confused whispers rippling through them. Daniel stood tall. "My name is Daniel Mercer. I'm not just a customer. I'm the CEO of this company." Gasps filled the room. Ella's eyes widened in shock, her hand flying to her mouth. Kyle paled visibly. "I came yesterday undercover," Daniel continued, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I saw things I never should have seen. The tips customers give out of kindness, meant for you, are being stolen." Silence hung heavy. Ella's eyes brimmed with tears, Maria's hands shook, and even the dishwasher stared in disbelief. Daniel's gaze locked on Kyle. "And I know exactly who's been taking them." Kyle stammered, "Yes, sir, it's company policy." "No," Daniel cut him off sharply. "It's greed, and it ends today." He turned to the staff. "From this moment forward, every single tip belongs to you. No exceptions. No loopholes. And if anyone tries to take that away, they won't be working here." Relief washed over the room. Ella's shoulders shook as she covered her face. Maria reached for her hand, and even the dishwasher let out a quiet cheer. But Daniel wasn't finished. "You deserve more than just tips. You deserve respect. From today, I'm implementing a new wage increase across all our cafes. No more scraping by. You work hard, you'll be rewarded fairly." The room erupted in gasps, then tears, then applause. Ella stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Thank you, you don't know what this means to us." Daniel's throat tightened. He smiled gently. "Actually, I do. I started out just like you, behind a counter, pouring coffee, dreaming of something better. I promised myself I'd never forget the people who make this company what it is, and yesterday reminded me of that promise." He glanced at Kyle, whose face was red with shame. "As for those who exploit others, their time here is over." Security arrived moments later to escort Kyle out. The cafe felt different, lighter, warmer, as if a weight had been lifted. Customers who had overheard clapped, some even cheering. The older man in the suit from yesterday stood and shouted, "About time someone stood up for them." Daniel turned back to the employees. "This isn't just about coffee and toast. It's about people. And you are the heart of this company. Never forget that." Ella wiped her tears, whispering, "We won't." For the first time in a long time, Daniel felt something stir inside him. Not the thrill of business deals or profit margins, but the simple, powerful truth that kindness and respect could change lives. And as he walked out of Maple Street Cafe, the applause still echoing behind him, he knew this undercover mission had given him more than answers. It had given him hope.